Welcome to this masterclass on how to accelerate your career. I'm Sheila Starr, and today I'm going to go through some tips and practical advice that you can take away from this webinar. So today I'm talking all about why businesses need more women in senior roles. I'm going to talk about the 5 mistakes that you need to avoid if you want to accelerate your career in the corporate world. I'm going to help you bust that I'm not good enough myth. And then I'm going to share with you the one big secret that will get you committed to taking that next level job. So welcome along. Just going to stop sharing my screen. Welcome along here today. I'm so excited to have you here because I just see so many women hold themselves back and they're so capable. And I bet that's you as well, isn't it? I bet you're a capable woman that's sitting, hiding behind her desk, knowing you're capable of more, but fear's holding you back, probably scared of rejection, humiliation. Maybe you don't feel that you've got enough experience, or maybe you feel you need to have all of the qualifications in order to apply for that next level job. We don't talk about these things. We just sit there and fester on it. And actually, we're not doing ourselves any favors. We're not doing the world any favors because you've got so much to offer. So I want to help you do that. So I'm going to work through this masterclass with you today. And then at the end of it, if I can help you any further, then I'll give you some ways that you can do that, because I'm just really passionate about helping women like you to step up in their careers. So let me share my screen again and we'll get started. So this session is for you if you're a woman in a corporate job, if you're a woman who wants to get on and earn more, and if you want to make a bigger impact, because that's what we're often so passionate about. And it's just different because I've been where you are. I had 34 years working in the corporate world. I understand the challenges that you're going through. I understand the gremlins that are going on in your mind. And I've got some strategies that will help you, but they're real practical things. I'm not into jargon or fluffy talk. These will all be things that you will be able to take away with you today. So my promise to you today is that I want to show you that you can become a success. No matter what you're telling yourself, you absolutely can become a success. You can increase your income. And why shouldn't you? Actually, you deserve to earn a decent income so that you're valued. And I want to show you that you can make a difference. You can make a bigger difference. So it's, I'm going to, talk quite quickly through this. So make sure you've turned off all your distractions. Make sure that you've got a pad and a pen there, because there will be some key points here that will be absolutely worth writing down. And then, before we crack on, I do just want you to make a promise to yourself now that you will take action, that you won't just let this be another webinar or masterclass that you sit through and think, oh, that was very interesting, and then you leave and don't do anything. There is no point. That's a waste of your time and your talent, because I know that you're capable of loads. So promise me that you're going to take action. Promise yourself that you're going to take action. Promise? Can't hear you. Promise. Excellent. Nice one. Okay. So let's crack on. Some of the big challenges that you're probably facing at the moment is self-doubt. Those little mind gremlins that go on telling you that you're not good enough, that nothing ever works for you. Maybe you feel like you've not got all the right qualifications to apply for that next level job. You're telling yourself that you need, more qualifications, you need a degree, whatever it is, you haven't got it. And perhaps you're not applying for those senior roles because you feel that you need to know everything, because you haven't got the skills, and all of this means that you're actually not earning what you're worth. And these are likely to be the challenges. These are the challenges I come across all the time when I'm working with my clients. And what you really want is to be more confident. You want to feel good about things. You want to have the confidence to go for those senior level jobs, to apply for that job, to do that presentation. That will mean that you can then get a senior level job where you feel valued, where you're actually making a difference, you're making a bigger impact, and you're feeling really proud of yourself. And ultimately, this will increase your income and improve your life. Now, sometimes you do have to take a bit of a leap of faith. And I remember some years ago, when I was in a job and it was okay, it's a decent enough job, but there's just something, I kind of felt like I was capable of doing more. I felt like I wanted to make a bigger difference and add more value to what I was doing. And I came home one day and I opened the fridge because it was dinner and I was thinking, what am I going to eat? I was feeling very uninspired. I opened the fridge, the light was on me, I could feel the chill. And I just pulled out a pizza and stuck it in the oven because I just couldn't be bothered. And on my mind, I was just thinking, I need to be doing more. So I sat down with the local paper and looked at the job section. That's how long ago it was, because jobs were advertised in the paper back then. And not only that, if you're anybody here is old enough, that you had the ink on that you used to get on your hands, that's what it was like. Anyway, I was looking through this paper and I found this job, and it was to set up a contact centre for social housing organisation. It wasn't particularly local to where I was, but it was kind of where we were thinking we wanted to move to. So I had a look through it and I got really excited because I was like, oh, this looks really good. It's really interesting. I showed it to my husband. And then as I kept reading, it was like they wanted somebody to set up this contact centre from scratch. I was like, well, I've never done that. And then it said, you need to know about social housing. At the time, I didn't even know what that was. And then it said, you need to have a university degree. Well, I haven't got a university degree. So I put it away, slumped in front of the telly, just sat and, watched some junk on the telly. But over the next few days, so I didn't apply for it at the time because I was like, well, there's no point. I haven't got what they need. But over the next few days, I did mull on it a bit and I thought, I really want to do something else. And that job sounds really good. And I'm sure I could do the job. So I went back to it and I applied for it. And I put all the things on my application because it was an application form that I had done, all of the skills that I could bring to it. And I got an interview. Well, of course, once you've got an interview, you've got a chance, haven't you? So I arrived for this interview on this day. It was quite a drive from where I was at the time. It was pouring with rain. I managed to park outside and I struggled in with me, waterproof on my umbrella. I had a handbag. I had a bag with my notes and stuff in, and I'd had to do a presentation, which was on acetates at the time. Anybody remember those? So anyway, I'm sitting in reception and I'm just sitting there thinking, what am I doing here? What if I can't answer the questions that they ask me? What if I look stupid? Why am I here? I've got no business being here. And my hands were sweaty and my legs were shaking, my heart was pumping. And I was like, well, I'm here now. So whatever happens, I'm going to have to go with it. So I got called in and I went up and I did the presentation, which went really well. Started getting asked questions that I could answer. And I was like, oh, this is going okay. And of course, the more I could answer the questions, the more comfortable I felt, the more confident I felt. And what I realized was that I might not be the expert in social housing in the room. I was the expert on customer service because that's what they didn't have. And I went through this interview. I was answering questions. I think they were asking me questions they didn't even know the answers to themselves because it wasn't a job that they were familiar with, but they needed somebody to do it. And I sailed through the interview and actually got a call on my way home offering me the job, which was fantastic. There's a few things I want you to think about here. Firstly, I wasn't going to apply for that job, but getting that job started my 20-year career in social housing, and I climbed the ladder when I was there. Imagine if I hadn't applied for that job, what would I have been doing? But it did, started a great career for me. The other thing to think about is that the job description is just written as a guide. It's often written just to get the salary. And the people that are interviewing you are probably not even looking at the job description. And sometimes they don't know what they want until you're standing in front of them. You might not even have all the skills that they need, but if you've got the right attitude, if they think you're going to fit in and that you've got the potential, then you may well get that job. So this is about mindset. This is about you understanding that it's worth having a go. You've got to have a go. And the biggest thing I want you to take from this is that mastering your mindset is the most effective way to grow in confidence. And that will let you have a successful career and a happy life. It is not impossible. It's actually I'm possible. So have a think to yourself, what's stopping you? What is the blocker in your mindset stopping you going for your dream job or that next level job that at the moment you think you've got no chance in getting, like I did? Okay, let's dive into these 5 mistakes. So there are 5 mistakes that I see women make in their career, and I'm going to share with you how to deal with them differently, how to avoid those mistakes. So the first thing is that we don't sell ourselves. We absolutely don't sell ourselves enough. And I know we feel like it's bragging, we feel like it's not ladylike, it's showing off. But no one knows how capable you are if you don't tell them. They don't just see it, unfortunately. You have to tell them. You won't be on the list when people are looking for help with projects or secondments. You won't be headhunted for that dream job if nobody knows how good you are at doing it. And I know it can feel uncomfortable, but there are ways that I teach my clients where you can promote yourself without being pushy, without being arrogant, just by being proud of yourself. And the reason that there are fewer senior leaders that are women is because we're not good at selling ourselves. So, firstly, what happens is we think, I'm not going to apply for that job because I know I'm not going to have a chance of getting it because you can't sell yourself. Or you go for the interview, but you don't sell yourself enough, and so you don't get the job. And this is the sad fact is that actually, this is why um, women don't get these jobs. It's only 12% of executives are women in the UK. And the sad fact is that women are much better leaders than men. We're better at creating environments that support each other. We're better at creating flexible working practices. We're better at that collaborative approach, that better teamwork. We develop and nurture talent and put succession planning in place. We're better in a crisis. We're more innovative. We're more inclusive. And actually, research clearly shows that companies led by women, where they have women in senior roles, are more productive, more profitable, and have better staff engagement. So we need you. Businesses need you. They need more female leaders. You can be that role model to your children, to the next generation, to the people coming up behind you. So let's have a look at what you can do about that. So there are 3 sales strategies. Okay. First one is gather the evidence. Because I bet you don't even know how good you are. How many of you keep records of your achievements, of your successes? How many of you can tell me, the actual outcome that you had about something? So if you're not gathering the evidence, you need to start now. Write this down. You need to start it now. Get yourself an app, a spreadsheet, a pad, whatever it is, and note down all of the things that you do well, big or small. It doesn't matter, because in an interview, sometimes the small things can make great examples. So make sure you know how good you are. Keep records, and the more outcomes you've got, the better. So this is about presenting the outcomes. So this isn't about saying I'm a great communicator. This is about saying I improved customer satisfaction by X%, or I improved the engagement in my team by X%. It's about outcomes. It needs to be tangible. That is what will make you stand out. And that is what you can do to sell yourself. And then you need to claim those achievements. You need to say I and not we. That's not to say you're claiming other people's achievements, just your part in it, but you will have played a part in it. And use the word I. Remember, in an interview, it's all about you. They're not interviewing your team, they're interviewing you. You can talk about the teamwork, you can talk about how you take people along with you, but talk about what I achieved. You absolutely need to get comfortable doing this, because the possibilities are endless. If you get this right, you can raise your profile, which means that you'll get noticed. You can perform better in interviews, which will get you that dream job, and you'll grow in confidence, which will help you get your successful career. So tell me, have a think. How good are you at selling yourself? Between 1 and 10, be honest with yourself. How comfortable are you selling yourself? 1 being rubbish, 10 being fantastic. Okay, so mistake number 2 is that you think you need to know everything. So this is one of the things that stops you applying for jobs, because you think that you have to meet 100% of the criteria. This is where you think you need to know everything about the next job before you go for the next job. And that's just not true. You'll learn it. You need to know enough to get started, but then you will absolutely learn it. When you got this job, you didn't know everything. You've learned lots about it. When you started learning to drive, you didn't know everything. You knew enough to get the car started and move it. And now you've learned different things along the way. You don't need to know everything. And this will be holding you back at the moment. So you need to think a bit differently about it. Rather than focusing on all the things that you can't do, you need these 2 big ideas. You need to firstly focus on what you can do. So look at all of the things that you can do. Write a long list of the things that you can do, because it will be a long list and it will be amazing. Stop noticing the things you can't do. Focus on all the things that you can do. So if you see a job description and you look at it and go, I can do 70% of that, that's good enough. Apply for that job. And then build a team around you that supports you. So if you're already a manager, then you know what your strengths are. Where are the areas that you need other people to fill those gaps for you? And then you employ people that have got those. There's no point having a team of people who all know the same stuff and who've all got the same skills. You want a team of people who can share their skills, who complement each other with their skills. And if you're not a manager, you can still build a team around you. You can still network with people. You can still learn from people. And you can still be mentored by people. So build a team that supports you. You absolutely don't need to know everything. Okay. So mistake number 3 is that you are probably focusing on this job. You are doing an excellent job in this job. And because of that, you haven't got a career. You've just got a great job. And that's not what we want. We want a career. So I imagine that if you're anything like me and my other clients that I work with, then you like to be good at your job. You want to fit in, you want to offer great service, you want to go that extra mile. But this gives you limiting traits, and these are that you're very loyal. Now, being loyal is good, but not being too loyal, because this is a job and you want to be loyal to your colleagues and that, but because you're so loyal and you don't want to leave them, you don't leave. But just think, your company will let you go if they want to. Your colleague will leave if they get a better job. It's not about being too loyal. This will hold you back. You're keen to excel. You want to do the best job you possibly can. You want to go that extra mile. But adding that extra effort in, putting all that extra value in, is actually limiting your career, and it will hold you back. And you're so committed to doing a great job that you don't have the time or the energy to think about anything else. So you're only focusing on this job and you're fully committed to it, which is admirable, but it's not going to help your career. So what we need to understand here is that being exceptional at your job will not get you to the next level in your career. It will not. You want to aim to being good at the job. You want to get to good, and then you want to be thinking about the next level. Okay. You want to be thinking about that next job. Don't excel in this job, because all the skills that got you to this job are not the skills you need in the next job. You need different skills for the next job. So let's have a look at the 3 success strategies here. Firstly, seek opportunities. Seek opportunities outside of the role that you're in at the moment. What projects could you get involved with? How could you help your manager with things? How could you go on secondment? Could you go out and about to conferences or meet suppliers or whatever it is? What opportunities have you got to develop your skills so that you're ready for the next level? You need to get better at networking, because your network could absolutely help you create opportunities for your future. That's a long-term strategy, and men are really good at it, and women aren't quite so good at it because we don't like to use people. But networking is all about capitalizing on the people that you meet. So we nurture relationships, but we never capitalize on them. And this is something you need to get better at. You need to get out there. You need to meet people. You need to build your network, because ultimately you can create future opportunities by doing that. And then you need to commit to you. You don't commit to the company. You don't commit to your job. You commit to you. And when you commit to you, this is all about your future and your career. This is all about your career. This is about investing time in you. And it isn't about being better at this job. It's about proving your potential for the next job. And sometimes you have to put your brave pants on. Sometimes you have to go networking on your own, even though it's scary. Sometimes you have to get involved in projects that you've never done before, because it will teach you something new. Sometimes you have to look for opportunities, because they don't always come to you. If they do, grab them, but they don't always. You have to create your own opportunities. And I've got a little tale about when when we started on our digital transformation journey. So I was set up customer service centre, and then we implemented an online portal. We were one of the first in social housing to do that, and it was exciting. But suddenly everybody had ticked it off as done, and I'm like, no, there's so much more here. But the exec team didn't get it. And eventually they got a consultant in who said, you need somebody to lead your digital transformation program. And I'm thinking, me, that's me, that's my job, that's what I want to do. Now the exec didn't know that. So I sat there one day thinking at my desk, I was like, I need to go and tell the chief exec that I'm the right person for this job. Because otherwise, what happens? They go and get somebody external to come in, and I'm sitting at my desk, then cross that I haven't got that job. So I walked up the stairs. I was terrified. I was out of breath by the time I got there. I went in and I said to him, this digital transformation person you need, that's me. That's my job. I need to do that. And he was really good. We had a chat. He listened to me. I explained why I thought I was the right person for the job. He said, go and work with HR to put a job description together and we'll take it from there. And what happened? I did that. I worked with the director of HR. We put this job description together and they advertised it internally only. I was the only person that applied because everybody else in the company knew I was the right person for this job. I did go through a proper rigmarole of an interview process, but I did get the job. But imagine again, if I hadn't done that, I could have found myself working for somebody else and I probably would have learned from them, but I learned a lot by going for it myself. And it was scary and I was completely out of my comfort zone, but I made a success of it. And sometimes you have to just put your brave pants on and go for it. Don't be scared of having those conversations because people won't think of you. You have to think of yourself. So what action will you take? What could you take now to get ready for your next step? This isn't about learning more about the job you know. This is about learning more about the job that you want. What can you learn now to get you that next level job? Prove your potential. Okay, so our next mistake is that you think that getting it wrong is bad. And what happens when you're scared of getting it wrong? What happens when you're scared of making a mistake? I'll tell you what happens. Nothing happens because you're so scared that you don't do anything. You don't take any action. And you're probably sitting there thinking, yeah, but I'm a perfectionist, Sheila. I like everything to be just right. Well, don't be, because perfectionism is just another word for procrastination. Nothing will ever be perfect. Nothing needs to be perfect. Just good enough and then go for it. Maybe you dwell on the past. Maybe you say, oh, I've tried that before and it didn't work. Maybe you think about all the times that it went wrong when you tried new things. But that just leads to self-doubt. Stop dwelling on the past. The past is not your future. Maybe you compare yourself to others, which is really dangerous because that just makes you feel inadequate. Don't look at other people thinking, I could never do that, or look how good they are at that, because you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know how hard they work to get there. You don't know what insecurities they have underneath. Don't compare yourself to other people. Because when we get scared of getting it wrong, it does, we know we're scared of like being humiliated, aren't we? We're scared of looking stupid. But this will just hold you back. It absolutely stunts your career. And what you're doing is you're prioritizing your security over your potential. Okay, we've all felt like it, but you've got to change it. You've got to shift your mindset. So let's have a look at some new strategies. So you have to see failure as a stepping stone to success because all successful people have been there. The difference is they don't see it as failure. They see it as learning. They see it as the next step because every mistake that they've made has taken them a step further on. And actually, most successful people have made more mistakes than you and me put together because that's how they get where they get to. They see it as a stepping stone. So let's have a look at these 3 proven principles with how to do that. So the first thing is to remember that you do gain strength from making mistakes. They say, don't they, things that don't kill you make you stronger. Well, it's true to an extent. And actually, you know, we do gain strength from mistakes. We grow in resilience, we grow in experience. We just do gain strength, and that's just something to recognize. You'll probably find that some of the things that have given you strength have been from things that have gone wrong in your life. And often, actually, a mistake can lead to an opportunity. I know once I made a mistake of applying for the wrong job and I didn't get that job, but the person who was interviewing me had another job and they put me into that and it was a perfect job. So if I hadn't applied for the wrong job, I'd never have got the right job. And obviously we know stories about, you know, inventors, like penicillin was made through mold. That was a mistake. It wasn't what he was intending to do, but he's created the, you know, most incredible penicillin, most incredible medication that the world has ever seen. So whenever you make a mistake, notice what has happened as well. Is there another opportunity that has come from that mistake that you've made? And the biggest thing, of course, is to learn and grow from our mistakes. And it is really vital that we do learn from them. This is, you will get your biggest learnings from your biggest mistakes. It will teach you not to do it again for a start, because you don't want to feel like that. But also, it teaches you what works, it teaches you what doesn't work, and you have to take note of this. So when you make a mistake, do look at it, but with a forensic sort of look, analyze it. What was it that went wrong? What could I do differently? Don't just think, oh, I'm never doing that again. That's not the way. You don't dwell on it. You just look at it and then you review it and you adapt. So you do it differently next time. That is how we all learn. So that's what I want you to take away with it. So just think to yourself, are you holding yourself back because you're scared of making a mistake? And don't be. It's not a mistake. It's just learning. It's either a success or it's learning. There's no mistakes involved. Yeah. And then our final mistake is that we prioritize others. We as women are typical people pleasers. We like to be liked. We're always there for other people. We're supporting them. We're caring for them. And I used to be that person. I used to be the person that was the people pleaser. I needed to fit in. I wanted to support others all the time. I found it hard to say no. I did good deeds for people. And some of these things make you feel good, don't they? It's nice when people come and ask you for help. But ultimately, if you haven't got the capacity for it, then it just impacts on us. And what happens is we become overworked because we're helping other people. And that's what happened to me. People would come to me and I'd be really helpful, but then I didn't have time to do my own job. So I became overwhelmed. And then I was exhausted. And obviously that then leads to unhealthy behaviors and ultimately stress. And then what happens is that we have, no ambition. We lack self-belief. We've got no adventure going on in our life because we're so knackered, we're so tired and stressed and overwhelmed that all of these things impact on our future because we're just about managing, we're just about dealing where we are. So we absolutely have to think about this differently. And I want you to get yourself a new belief. I want you to understand that better self-care equals better results. You've absolutely got to nurture yourself. You've got to look after yourself first. Because when you look after yourself, you're in a better place to look after others. So we've got 3 commitments that I want you to make to yourself here. I want you to focus on your well-being. Your well-being has to come first, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's putting a little morning routine in place, whether that's, putting some non-negotiables, whether that's exercise every day, whether that's about eating better, whether that's about taking some time out whenever you need it, some me time, some fun time, whatever that looks like for you, sit down and work out how to look after yourself. Make sure you've got a healthy work-life balance. Put those boundaries in place so that you have got a start time and an end time, so that you take a lunch, so that you're not working all the hours that God sends, because that is not going to make you feel any better. And then learn to say no. Don't take on too much, because if you take on too much of the stuff that you shouldn't be doing, then it isn't helpful to you. And actually what happens is that you stop saying yes to things you should be saying yes to. So we want to say no more to the right things and yes more to the right things. We want to have the energy to go and have fun and go away for the weekend and go out, rather than sitting down and watching Netflix and drinking a glass of wine because we've said yes to everybody else. So you have to learn to say no at the right time. And you can do that. You can still say no to your friends and to your colleagues while still being supportive. You don't have to be aggressive about it. You don't have to be that unhelpful person. There are ways that we can work on that that will help you say no in a very constructive way. Because remember, not everything is your responsibility. Not everything is your responsibility. Take that away with you. Because the biggest thing about self-care is that people underestimate, because people sometimes say to me, what's self-care got to do with my career? But honestly, people underestimate the power of self-care, because actually, when you look after yourself, everything else improves and your career will improve, because you'll have better focus at work. You'll have much more energy and your performance will improve. You'll be at your best, so you will improve, and you'll feel like you could run the world, rule the world, get that better job. So look after yourself first. So just have a think to yourself, if you keep prioritizing others, what impact will that have on your life? What impact is it having at the moment? And what can you do differently? And this is one I really want you to take action on first, because this will impact on everything else. If your self-care is not good and you're not in the right place, then the rest of it doesn't matter, because it must be too hard to do. Promise me. Promise me that you'll go away and do that. Okay, I hear you. Now, the good news about all of this is it's all about fear. It is only what you tell yourself. And once you start thinking differently, you'll start acting differently, and you will get better results. You'll get different results, which will be better results. And this is what I teach people. This is what I work with people on. It starts with the mindset. So the thing is here, it's about courage. It's about feel the fear and do it anyway. It's the best way to move on. It's hard. It's scary. It is scary. Everything in life is scary when you've not done it before. You've got to lean into it. You've got to feel the fear and do it anyway. Now, I want to touch on busting this myth that we're not good enough, because I'm sure, like me and like most of the clients that I work with, there is always something. I'm not thin enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not funny enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not old enough. I'm not good enough. We all have it. But there is a way that you can deal with that. And I've put together the Better Mindset framework, which can help you get over that feeling. And I've got some techniques. Now I'm going to whiz through this. This is something I do with my clients and in my programs, but I just want to give you highlights here today so that you've at least got some thought process that you can take away with you. So write these down. So I'm going to go quick. So the first thing here is it's about your beliefs. You have to change what you believe, because you'll have all sorts of stories going around in your head that you've told yourself, but they're not true. You've decided that it's true. These are your beliefs, but they're often limiting beliefs. And these are the things that hold you back. So the first thing you need to do is look at your beliefs and have a think about how you can change them. And then have a look at your emotions, because what often happens is we let our emotions run away with us. We get quite emotional about things that don't need to be emotional, or we go to the wrong emotional place. So when things happen, you might go to a place of anger, whereas actually you could change that and choose to go to a place of curiosity or determination. You can absolutely choose how you feel. You have to notice it. You have to really notice the emotions that you're coming up with, and then decide to think differently about it, to feel differently. And notice your triggers. So often something will trigger you that will lead you to that emotion. And again, all sorts of things trigger different people differently. So the first thing here is to notice it. When you start getting angry about something, notice it. What was it that triggered you? Was it somebody tailgating you? Was it somebody always coming to meetings late? Was it the way somebody treated you? What was it that triggered you, and what emotional place did it lead you to? So as soon as you start noticing it, you can start to think about how you can deal with it differently. And then it is about thinking differently. Once you start questioning yourself, once you start questioning what else something could mean, is this isn't about me. Actually, it's just about them. That person that's tailgating me, maybe their parents are poorly and they're rushing to the hospital. It's not about you. They're not tailgating you because of you. It's all about them. So always ask yourself, is this really true? What else could this mean? And start thinking differently. And that will ultimately lead you to empower yourself. You absolutely have to believe in yourself. You have to start, giving yourself the benefit of the doubt. You have to give yourself permission to go and do things and try new things so that you empower yourself. And then to pull it all together, I'm a big fan of reflection. So looking at all of these things, take some time to reflect. Reflect on what your beliefs are. What triggers you to go to these emotional places? How can you think differently? And do that regularly. So it's a whistle stop tour, and I work with my clients a lot more on that. We go right deep into it, but I just wanted to give you something to take away. So get your thought process working. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you could master your mindset? What would your life look like if you could have the courage to go for that next level job? What would your life look like if you could be proud of yourself? If you, got that senior job where you're making a bigger impact, where you're really valued, where people look up to you, and where you're earning yourself more money, where you can support your family in a better way? What would it look like? Have a little think about it. The success is different for everybody, and whatever success, you don't have to copy anybody else's. It's just for you. This is just about you. Don't put yourself under pressure. What would success look like to you if you could master your mindset? So, are you ready for the one big secret? This is the one thing that will get you committed to taking that action, to going for that next level job. Ready? It's to make a decision. You have to make a decision, and that is it. You are only one decision away from changing your life. It might be a hard decision, it might be a brave decision, might be a difficult decision, but it is only one decision, and you do just need to decide. You don't have to worry about how at the moment, you just make a decision. Because once you've made that decision and you've committed to it, you'll find a way. You'll absolutely find a way. And you can do that. This is how people achieve things. This is how people lose weight when they really want to. This is how people get fit when they really want to, because they make that decision. This is how people become successful. This is how people achieve their goals, because they decide. They decide unequivocally that they are going to do this. And they don't know how, and you don't need to know how. But for the moment, you just need to stop being afraid of what could go wrong, and you need to be excited about what could go right. So I'm going to leave you with some thoughts. I want you to really have a think about this, and I want you to go away and answer these questions to yourself. I want you to ask yourself, what is the main thing that is holding you back? It might be a few things, but there might just be one real thing that's holding you back. Properly have a think about it, not superficial, because if it's superficial and you deal with it, it won't make any difference. What is the deep-seated issue that you've got that's holding you back? And what would it mean? What would life look like if you got yourself a better job financially, for your pride, for your job satisfaction, to be a role model for your children or the next generation? What would it be that you would have if you got that better job? And then what action must you do to accelerate your career? What do you need to do? What action will you take? I want you to take these away with you. Now, before I finish up, I do just want to go through the fact that there is help for you. Now, I hope this has been useful and you've got some notes, and there's been some practical tips here that you can absolutely take away and action. But sometimes people need a bit more help, and that is okay. I had coaches my whole life through my career that have helped me. I've still got coaches now helping me run my business. It's really good to get a coach, because the coach is the person that has been where you are. They've been on the journey, so they can give you support and advice and challenge you, because that's what we need sometimes. Stop us procrastinating, to actually challenge our thinking, but to be there to be your cheerleader as well, and that is what I do. So I offer a whole range of help depending on what you want. I've got a low-cost membership where there are stacks of video content that you can watch, where you'll have access to various live events that we have, and it's really cheap, and the prices are all in the details below the email that this came with. I do interview prep sessions. So if you're literally going for an interview and you want to practice what that looks like so that you're really prepared, so that you can really perform on the day, give me a shout, because actually practicing it up front gets you really confident and really ready for that next level job. I do courses. I do online courses. My signature course is Accelerate Your Career, which is a 5-step process, but I do other courses. You can go to my website. I've got a shop on there. All of these things that I want to put things together that are affordable for people, but that offer you value. And then I also do one-to-one coaching as well. So if you really want to invest in your future and you really want to get on, then one-to-one coaching is the way to go. But I can help you. I can help you decide what is right for you. So visit my website. It's sheilastylecoaching.co.uk. All the information is on there. Book a call with me. Let's have a chat. I'm happy to have a half an hour chat with you, so that we can put together a strategy for you, so that you can determine what help you need and where it is you want to get to. Because I am on a mission to help women like you unlock their potential, so that you can make a bigger difference, so that you feel proud of yourself, so you get over those self-esteem and confidence problems and apply for that next level job where you can make a bigger difference and earn yourself some more money. So I just want to finish by saying that nothing is impossible. Remember, everything is possible once you make a decision. Other people have done it. That means that you can do it too. I'm nobody special. I left school at 16 with no qualifications. And I left my career earning a 6-figure salary as a senior leader. And now I'm running my own business. And it's all hard. Life is hard, but you want to choose your hard, because sometimes it's hard staying in a job that you're in as well. So I really hope this has been useful for you. Reach out to me. Let me know how you're getting on. Just send me a message anyway. I love to hear the news from people that watch my masterclasses and come along. And if I can help with anything at all, then please let me know. But otherwise, I wish you the very best of luck.